Let's get into some things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button if you are new here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be as bad, because I don't be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. Fix me that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. What's up, tribe? Now listen, I got a treat for y'all today. Y'all have always asked me, Really B, how did you get into this? Really B, how did you start doing this? And I always tell y'all the story of Spikefish Radio. And I said, one day I'm going to get Spikefish over here to talk to us. One day he going to come over. One day. Well, today is that day. Spikefish is here. And we're going to talk. We're going to tell some stories. And he has some great stuff that he is getting into that we are going to talk about as well. So welcome to the stage, Earl Wyatt, a.k.a. Spikefish Radio.
How you doing, man?
You enjoyed that?
I did.
Listen.
I did, but I feel like we did do an episode before, though. I think we did one a couple years ago, right? I think like I came over. That's why I thought I was going to. Yeah, I feel like I came over.
You might have come over before.
I feel like
I'm
we
not
talked.
sure if you did. But if you did, it
but
was
I don't
a long
know.
time ago.
We might have to go
new
back and look
people
at
here, and we're going to get into it again. Shout out to the people in the chat. Did any of y'all remember Spikefish coming over here before, Earl? He probably did, y'all. He probably has. So, first of all, I want to say, I have pinned at the top of the chat, Earl has dropped a comedy album. He is doing comedy full time now. That is what he's got going on.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Uh-oh.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay, can y'all hear me in the chat? Let me see. It's not on my end. You can hear me fine before. I'm not sure.
Now I could hear you for a split second.
Okay.
Just I could hear you for like 2 seconds, then you went away again.
I didn't do anything. It's on you. I didn't do anything.
All right, you can't hear me. I can't hear you. Let me see.
I can hear you.
Can't hear you though.
Right. Go out and come back in. We were just talking. I don't know what happened to the sound.
There you go. And now you just came back. So whatever you just did.
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I didn't do anything.
All right, this is gonna be fun.
Right. What did you do?
I didn't do a single thing. I sat here the whole time.
Okay. I don't know. They could the chat could hear both of us, so I'm not sure what was going on. But El Teddy has been here damn near since the beginning. He said he don't remember. So I don't know, but it doesn't matter. We have Earl here today. So before we're gonna come back around to the comedy, but I do want to let everybody know that Earl has dropped a comedy album. I listened to it yesterday. It's pretty funny. Earl is doing comedy full time now, but he's done some great things in his life. You guys, I wish I could have found an old picture from his punk rock era. He is a musician, producer, entrepreneur, radio. Like he's got the full gambit. But New York native, but you grew up in you were in DC, been in DC for a while, right? Yeah.
Military brat.
Right? Military brat. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you guys the story. Everybody says, Really B, how did you start doing this? Earl is the person you guys can thank. So here's how it happened. And Earl, you could jump in. I was doing a guest radio spot over at WEAC Radio. If you're in the DC area, WEAC Radio out of Anacostia, local radio station. If you drive too far out the city, you're gonna lose it. But hey, you can get it in DC, right? And I was doing a guest spot for a friend of mine, Dimas. He did a radio show. He wanted somebody to speak on education. I was there. Spikefish Radio used to go on directly after Dimas's show. And they were doing relationships one night. Okay, go ahead.
Drop that again. Let me
Here,
grab
what's
mine.
going on with your sound? It's on your end. I don't know what it is.
I can't hear.
I don't know.
I didn't do anything. I can't
We
hear.
literally were fine backstage. I don't know what's going on. I haven't touched anything. I don't know.
Let me come all the way out.
Yeah, go out and come back in.
I know what's happening. Let me see.
Okay. So I'll keep telling the story while he's gone. So they were doing a show on relationships, but it was two men. They were like, we need a woman's perspective. We need a woman's perspective. And he was like, hey, you got a few minutes? Do you mind having this conversation with us? And I was like, sure. So we have the relationship conversation. And then the next week he says, hey, you want to sit in again? And I was like, sure. And next thing you know, the duo becomes a trio. And I start doing Spikefish Radio as the female voice, the Angela Yee of the situation. And one day Earl says to me, he's like, listen, you should think about starting a podcast. You should think about starting a podcast because you really have a lot to say. And this show doesn't really give you the opportunity to really say everything you need to say and get it all off your chest. And that is how I started doing, because I did a podcasting before I did YouTube. I mean, probably about only 2 people listen to the podcast, but I did the podcast first. So that is how we got here. Okay. When Earl comes back, I'll let him jump in and give his side of it. So that's how I met Earl. And we did Spikefish for maybe 2 years, give or take. What up, everybody coming in? Hey, Nay. What's up, lovely Nola? Little baby, grown woman, the informed. What's up, Cookie? I see you guys coming in. So yeah, that was kind of how that went. Okay, here he is. He's back. Let's see if we can hear him now. Let's see. Mic check. Can you hear me? Now I can't hear you. Now I can't hear you. I'm not sure what happened. We were fine backstage, y'all. Okay, he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna put on the big dogs. Okay, I see. All right, he's gonna put on the big dogs. I still can't hear you. Okay, I don't know what you did when you went out, but I can't hear anything. He's gonna work it out, y'all. He's gonna figure it out. He does this. He does these things. He's gonna figure it out.
I do these things.
I hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can.
Woo! We're back. We're back in action. Okay. So you didn't hear the last part of the story, but that was pretty accurate. You kind of grabbed me from the green room and said, hey, we need a female perspective in this conversation.
I don't know if I said the word female because I think that could get me hurt in some audiences, but I might have said woman.
Woman. Yeah, maybe you said woman. I don't know.
I said woman.
I don't know. I don't know if you were that woke back then to say female versus woman, but whatever.
Myron could have said females though.
And that was how it started. So the duo became a trio. And then one day Earl says to me, you need to do a podcast because the show was only like an hour. And he was like, listen, you got a lot to say. You got perspective. And this hour-long show probably isn't letting you get it all off your chest.
That's true.
Especially trying to fight with Myron every week.
Yeah.
Myron was the shock jock of the group.
He was.
I was the female voice of the group, and Earl sort of sometimes just played referee.
Yeah, I was a straight guy in a comedy. That's who I was. I was just reacting all the time.
Right. Now, if you guys have ever heard me tell my Umar Johnson story, and I said I was doing a radio show, and I was saying how we tore Umar Johnson up, and I always talk about my co-host that really lit into Umar Johnson. This is Earl. It is him. And to this day, I wish we still had that audio.
I do have it.
Oh, you do? I thought we had lost it.
No, I got it. I've been waiting for the right moment to drop it, but
oh my gosh, you need to drop that because that was a whole
Yeah,
mess,
I'm looking forward
y'all.
to it.
Listen, when I tell you, you want to talk about chaos and confusion. It's just chaos and confusion.
Oh, I was so ready for that interview. Like, shout out to Kimon, because Kimon sent me a text earlier the day, because everybody knew Umar was coming on.
Right.
I didn't know. And so I get a text earlier in the day from Kimon saying, hey, we got a heavyweight coming on the air tonight. We're blending your time with D-Maz's joint. You need to be ready for it.
Together.
You need to be ready for it. He's a hitter. He's a heavyweight. And it obviously was Kimon, so it came with a lot of respect, right?
Right.
And so I went to look at YouTube so I could catch up on who Umar Johnson was at the time. I didn't know who he was. And the more I was scrolling through his stuff, the more I was like, oh, he a hack. Oh. Oh, this nigga's a joke. And so what I'm doing is, all I had to see was that one where he said something along the lines of, if you didn't donate to his school, somehow you was part of the like there was an unwritten rule that you couldn't donate to Black causes, like that little.
Right.
And I just literally pulled up the donation list for like Whitney and like it was a crazy show.
It was crazy. Yeah, now is the time because Umar is getting a drug up and down in these streets right now. Now's the time.
Yeah.
But that was some good. So a couple of highlights that I remember. And then we can get into. I remember the debate / argument over Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
And I want to say publicly that I owe you an apology. Listen, I tried to defend Tyler Perry, you guys. I really did. And it wasn't that I didn't acknowledge what Earl was saying in his argument about Tyler Perry's skills. I don't want to speak for him, but his skills not necessarily being up to par, so forth and so on.
Right.
I was just like, but he a Black man. We need to support it. He a Black. Okay, fast forward 10 years, and I'm sorry. That's all I can say is I'm sorry.
You're her sister, Crystal.
We were literally in the studio the night that the Bill Cosby dam broke. Remember when the comedian, when his jokes went viral? We literally were in the studio that night, and that turned into a whole debate that night. Remember?
Yeah, we were.
That was crazy.
That was a crazy. That was a crazy time overall. Like we were there for Trayvon. We were there for you know what I mean. Like and you could always tell when a moment's super Black whenever Myron, I, and Kimon were all on the same page. Like anytime all three of us kind of joined, you like, oh, this is where the community really is right now. Yeah,
right. And for the people don't know, Kimon was he was the owner of WEAC Radio, and he is like blackity blackity black, like black. You know what I mean? He's like,
when people say a Black superhero, he's my vision of a Black superhero.
Right. He definitely is. And like I said, Myron was the shock jock. I feel like Myron, he's like the militant revolutionary, but with no water fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was good times. And then, D-Maz was like our Hotep, he was our what's my guy from Outkast? He was our Andre 3000.
The bow ties will do it.
Like D-Maz would have pulled out a flute and played a flute in the studio, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Did she just say this nigga had a flute?
We had some good times, man. We definitely had some good times. I'm gonna say this one, and then we're gonna move on.
No worries, we're good.
Remember the night of the snowstorm? We're in the studio. And it starts snowing, and they're predicting like this snowstorm. And we were all parked in the emergency snow route. Mm-hmm. And we literally had to run out during the show. We had to like play a commercial. So we had to run out during the show so we could all move our car. So our car
to a place where we could easily get snowed and banked in.
Right.
So we had to move.
Right. We had to move it to a place where we probably were going to get snowed. Like they were going to push the snow. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because Kimon is like, they towing cars. Oh gosh, those are some fun times. So
yeah, I remember that.
You were right. So you were a musician. And I know you don't like to toot your own horn, but I want you to toot a little bit. You have played with who? Give us your top 3 people you've played with.
I got a chance to play the Black Lily in Philadelphia, basically right before. So Questlove used to host this jam session and at the place called the 5 Spot on Bank Street in Philadelphia. And I went up there to back up an artist named Hannah, but then Erykah Badu showed up with Flowetry, and that was a kind of a special night. I got a chance to jam. Got a chance to play with Bernie Worrell from Parliament Funkadelic. Got a chance to play bass around the Dandy Warhols. I've been a few places. Got a chance to headline CBGB's before they closed it in New York, and so that was
wow.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. I've been a few places, done a few things.
Because you play bass, right?
I play everything, and so I played keys before the Erykah show, and I was playing guitar when I was at CBGB's. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And when I met you, you weren't really doing the music as much anymore. You were more like doing your entrepreneurial thing. Yeah. You were doing IT kind of type work, you were kind of doing your own thing with that. Yeah. How did you and you were playing in comedy? I remember you were playing in it back
I dabbled
then.
It. Yeah, I was trying to promote the radio show on stage. That's what got me into it. Yeah.
Right. So how did you? Because like one day we might go months without talking, and then we'll talk and we'll like have this 2-hour long conversation and catch up. And you were like, yeah, so I've been hanging out with Larry Whitmore, and I'm hanging out. And I'm like, wait, what? How did we get there? So how did we get into the comedy of it all?
All right. So during the pandemic, what was crazy is that everybody had a lot of time on their own, except for I still had to go back and forth to the office. I was maintaining a data center because I was still doing the IT thing. And I still had to go back and forth every day. And because I had the extra time and I didn't have extra users I had an IT staff, but I didn't have users to service during the day. So, you write notes off to the side, see if you got a script ideas, okay, that made me laugh. And I wrote a play, I'm going to say loosely between the November to March, November 2020 to maybe February 2021, January 2021. Mm-hmm. And then through that process and getting it edited from a friend and going back and forth and editing it down again, going back and forth, I had something that got me into the Kennedy Center Playwright Intensive. And that was kind of a jump off. It's one thing to have a passion project, but it's another thing to get a passion project and have it immediately get embraced. And so that was something that I started doing more of and recognized I really liked the idea of being in TV. And I also got a good bit of information. So one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten was that if you're creative and you've got an idea and you have a rough idea of how to get something done, then you create it. If you want to see something done, you make it. And ironically, that's what allowed me to kind of relax a little bit of my, some of my disappointment when it came to Tyler Perry is that I recognized, you know what? He's fulfilling the vision he sees. And if I see more or if I see something different and I'm not seeing it and I want black faces on it, then that's going to have to be me. And so once I realized that instead of me complaining about what another man is not doing, what I've got to figure out is how, if I feel like it needs to be done and I think it's in my hands, then if you got the vision, you got to go out there and walk on it. And I don't know if I would have known to do that if I hadn't spent as much time around Kimon or if I hadn't spent as much time around some of the other brothers who they aren't waiting for permission. They gas up their car and they just go wherever they got to go. And I've been able to do that. So the last few years I've been writing scripts. I've sold a few. I haven't seen anything produced yet, but I've sold a few, had that done. And then this past year, and then I started writing, I would say 2018, 2019, 2020, around 2022, I decided to get back into comedy, largely because over the years I would write jokes and try to pass them off to my friends so I could hear how they sounded coming out, like for other people to say them and hear audiences laugh. And Leon Scott was really good, a comedian friend of mine. He was really good about telling me, no, nigga, I'm not telling you your jokes. You should tell your jokes. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want to write. And then I think Juneteenth 2022, I just kind of jumped up and said, okay, let's go for it. And I want to say my first set back was at the DC Comedy Loft, and that was a really good set. Like the audience was with me. Then I proceeded to bomb for about a good year, but that first one, it's the crack rock. It's the one that gets you hooked. And then I came back week after week until it started to get better. But that's how I got back into the comedy thing. And then and yeah, we'll get into some of the other stuff after that. But that's how I got back into comedy.
Yeah, any comedian that you hear tell the story, they talk about the bombs, right? They talk about, you know what I mean? So like, you kind of have to. Those
are brutal.
Oof. Right. And I'm sure they are, because you're already putting yourself out there, and then, you know, you're standing up there and it's like, oh, nobody thought that was funny. Wow. Okay. Like, how do I move on from this? So yeah, I get it. I definitely get it.
And those hurt. I had one in Chicago that made me quit for like a month.
Wow.
It was bad. You could just hear.
You're just kind of like, okay, then.
And I was up there giving my gold too. I was giving them gold. Ah!
Well, you thought it was, right? Yeah.
Okay, that was a little hurtful.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, you're right. I did think I was doing something. That was on me.
Who are your worst audiences? Like,
you know what? I get that question
city-wise. Like, who are the worst cities?
I get that question a lot. And I would tell you, when I got better at what I did, the audiences got better with me. So I can't say if it's a culturally or a geographic thing. I can say that whenever an audience is, let's say, homogeneous, when it's all one group, let's say it's all Black or it's all white or it's all people from this one local region, your references have to appeal to almost everybody in that room.
Right.
Versus I have found that like in places like Los Angeles or New York, where you look out into the audience and you see a little bit of everybody, I have found that people are way more forgiving when they go into a room expecting to hear something out of the ordinary, or they're going expecting that every reference might not necessarily be their own. But I would say the hardest you could do is if you look out and you see the entire room looks the same, whether they look like you or not, that's a day you got to go to work. That's a work day.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. Because I mean, when I was listening to the album, you at one point were talking about, you know, yeah, I normally don't do, you know, political jokes in certain, you know, and so that's why I was like, so I understand what you're saying. Like, you have to kind of read the room and say, okay, I'm gonna go left here, maybe not so much here, right? Like, I get it. Right. I definitely get it.
That's the job. That's the job. Now, wait a second. What are you gonna do? Have you done stand up? Because I feel like that's something you
absolutely not.
I feel like
listen. Don't try to put me on the spot in front of the audience. We've had this conversation behind closed doors. Y'all have been trying to get me on the stage. We've had this conversation behind closed doors.
Back in the day, I was trying to get you to do it. I was trying to get you to do it. Okay.
I'm not funny. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not.
Really? Okay. Really?
Oh, I'm not get on the stage and tell jokes funny. I'm like sitting around chilling with some Jack Daniels funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Hope Flood knows what you're talking about. Like, just get on stage with your Jack.
Just get on stage with my Jack and talk. Okay.
You get a glass of Jack and 2 stories. That's all you need for 5 minutes. A Jack and 2 stories.
What's up? See, Kim says, really, you have your moments. That means you're not funny all the time. See, when somebody has their moments, it's like,
Kim sounds like a hater. Who's Kim? Kim sounds like a hater. Who's Kim?
Don't do that. That's one of my people. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We over here trying to get her working. No.
Kim said, okay, Kim says I tell funny stories. Okay.
She does. Thank you, Kim. Thank you.
Whatever. No, he's been trying to get me on the stage for years.
I have.
We've had this conversation. The story doesn't change. I mean, the answer doesn't change. Oh, no. Kim said that was encouragement. Oh, thank you. Kim was encouraging me. Listen. No, I'm good. I'm really good where I am on this side of the aisle. I can write you some jokes. So you want me to write you some jokes?
See, didn't I just tell you how that worked? They're like, I got jokes. They're like, how about you go tell them? How about you do that? You tell some damn jokes. But I wrote it. How about you write them and tell them? Stop doing half a job.
Somebody in the chat said, would you consider doing comedy on a cruise? Like a cruise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I can do clean. Actually, I gotta tell you.
Can you do clean? Because I listened to the album.
How clean was that out? That album
it was
clean.
The first joke.
The first joke. I still don't curse.
But you did okay. You're right. You did not curse. But the sexual comments.
I mean, there are references, but every last one of the references are G-rated. I mean, you had to be an adult to know what I was talking about.
Oh, kind of. Okay. Like Bugs Bunny when we were kids, we didn't get the jokes till we were adults. That kind of thing.
Yeah, or The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons does it. Like you sit there and watch it.
I mean, the Family Guy's brutal.
Yeah, the Family Guy's just rude. That's just
right. Rude. So okay, so you
though.
decided to get into comedy full time, which I know. Just us conversations and knowing how you were raised and knowing your parents, I know that was a whole like process for you to get to that point, right? To say, you know what, I'm gonna step out. Even though one thing I will say, and I've said this to you, we've had this conversation probably. Earl can make some money. Like I have literally seen Earl hustle up money, like back against the wall. I need this money by Friday. So I know that when you need to grind, you know how to grind, right?
I do.
So I'm not worried about that part of it. But what was that process like with you saying, listen, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to make this a full-time thing? Like, what was that process like?
I got to tell you, my parents were the ones who put me in.
You're muted. You muted yourself. I don't know. You're still muted. I don't know how you did it. You hit something and now you're okay. Can you talk now?
I am. Okay, cool.
Okay, you got it. Okay.
So my parents put me in piano lessons when I was about 4. Had me doing speaking engagements between like 7 to like some at church, some at school. My parents, they were very sweet stage parents. There was a lot of practicing going on at home, like getting there. You got something to do Friday, right? Yeah. I don't think you got TV time if you got something to do on Friday. It's like, you're right.
Right, but that's right.
So by the time you get older, I think for my parents, as long as you are putting the time in and the energy and you are working at getting better, and if somebody asks you a random question, you know your craft. So if someone says, well, who's Chris Rock's inspiration? And you can say, oh, well, he's George Carlin coming off of a Dick Gregory sensibility, and have people go, oh, like if you've done the kind of research that allows you to answer those kinds of questions, my parents are fine. What you couldn't do is say you want to be a rapper and then sit at home and wait for somebody to give you beats. That's right. But if every night you're at an open mic bombing in front of 3 people who don't care until you can get 2 of those 3 people to laugh, and then you get all 3 of those people and the bartender in the back to laugh, and then now you want to be able to put something, like, as long as you're playing the video game and beating the bosses on the way up, my family is really supportive of that. And no, it's been awesome kind of talking to them. Hey, mom, dad, this is what I think I want to do. I will say, between the 2 of them, my dad's always kind of laughed at my sense of humor because I think it's a lot like his. And my mom was the one who said, I didn't think you were that funny originally. But if you like it, I love it, baby. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I don't think you're that funny, but go for it. I got you. I support you.
Yeah.
I got it. Let me take a quick pause before we keep going. You guys, I have it pinned at the top of the chat. You can download Earl's album. It just dropped last week. It is on all streaming sites. So whether you have an iPhone or Android, you can go to Google Play, you can go to Apple iTunes, Spotify, all of them places where y'all get y'all music. Y'all can download it. I got it on Apple for like $10. Y'all spend $10 at 7-Eleven. Go on and download the album. Even if you hate it, who cares? Support the black man. Okay.
Appreciate that so much.
So that was my plug. Go buy it. Just go buy it. So where are you now? Like, so what made you put out the album? Let's start there, because you didn't say anything to me about an album. But okay, what made you do the album? Where'd that come from?
Okay, so two things. So I did the book earlier this year, so we'll get to that in a second. But what ended up happening was I did Boston and then I did New York not too long ago, and when I was coming off stage, I realized that I had more to say than I was able to get out. But every comic knows that once you've got an act, that's your act. That's what you do. And I thought to myself, some of these jokes they're not as evergreen. This is a time and place for some of them. The political jokes, they have to land right now. There's some cultural references that are right now. And I figured, okay, if I've got them, and the audience was great, because I was intending to record that day, but I don't think I was intending for it to be a special that day. But it was a very special experience to have the audience and we were on the same page. And shout out to my friend Morgan for setting that up, so that by the time I was listening to the product that we had afterwards, and I thought, okay, I've got something here. And what I was hoping it can do is get me in places where I'm not going to be. You know what I mean? If there are timely jokes, there's timely references, there's an opportunity for me to connect with people outside of that room. Mm-hmm. And I'm a smaller act, I'm growing, but like by the time I get to Detroit later in the year or December-ish, some of these jokes aren't going to reference, but I think there are people out there who could probably laugh at some of what I had to say. And so I did it so I could kind of spread a little bit and not just do it with YouTube clips or doing it on Instagram, because I recognize sometimes the reach with that is a little small. But my favorite comedy specials, the ones that really brought me in the game, like Bebe's Kids or any of the old Dice stuff, is old Arsenio, like those, I heard them audio wise first. Right. I heard them through a Walkman or off a CD player or something like that. And even driving down, I've gotten to know Roy Wood Jr., who's one of the coolest, just one of the coolest cats you'll ever meet.
I wasn't gonna drop his name because I didn't know if you was gonna drop his name, but yeah, Roy, yeah.
No, but I'm gonna say even him. I was driving to North Carolina, and his father figure album happened to be on Sirius XM when I was doing the drive. And on the drive down, by the time I got to where I was going, and I heard it the first time on the radio station, and then I pulled it up on Spotify and listened to the whole album again. And I thought to myself, not only do I have to meet this man, but that's how I feel like certain types of comedy needs to be taken in the first time to understand what somebody's doing. Now he's got a visual representation. He acts out. He's got all the tools to make the game work. And on top of that, he's like 6 foot and change. So
he's that tall.
Oh, the funny thing, Roy Wood Jr.
Look that tall.
Roy Wood Jr. is impact, pure impact. When he shows up and he stands up at a microphone, you can't help but look and listen to what this brother has to say. And then when he does, he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. So if you see that and you're around that, then it makes you feel like, okay, let me try to get back into this. And him, and then there's Tony Woods here in DC. There's a lot of people who if you listen to them, you get a different depth of what they're doing with the English language. And then seeing him is great, but to hear it, that was the whole game. That's why I put together an album.
Yeah, because and like you said, going back to Walkman and cassette tapes, of course, the first cassette I listened to, because I think probably the first comedy album I heard was, of course, Richard Pryor. Wasn't supposed to listen to it, wasn't supposed to be listening to it, but my parents were listening to it and I could hear it. And I was like, what the heck? But the first, of my generation cassette tape I listened to was Eddie Murphy's first. A lot of people don't know the first one because everybody remembers the one where he talks about his dad and all of that. But there was one before that, and I forget the name of it, but that's the one that I remember listening to, the first one. Which I can't say it's his first one, but it's the one before. I know it came out before the one that everybody. It was in between. It was the first one. Then it was the second one where he talks about his dad falling down the steps, and then there's Raw, which of course everybody knows Raw because it was a movie.
Delirious,
yeah, Delirious. That's the one. So it was before Delirious, It was before Delirious. But anyway, that's the one for me. So I kind of know what you're talking about. And then I discovered Red Fox tapes.
Ooh,
I
those are the
discovered
best.
there was
Those
a
are the
place I
best.
used to go. I cannot remember the name of it
Those are the
now, but it was a store when I was living in Greensboro. And they sold like secondhand tapes and CDs and stuff like that. And that was the first time I saw a Red Fox tape. And
Huge
so,
Red Fox fan.
yes, love Red Fox. So I was able to listen to it. And so, yeah, I understand what you're saying when you can hear it. And you know, because Red Fox was a storyteller too. You had to stay with him. He would get you those quick ones, but he was really good at giving you a couple of quick ones and then telling the story and connecting the story back to the quick ones. And you had to be like, whoa, wait a minute, and it brings you back around. He was really, really, really good.
Look up how old he was when he did those. He was like 20, 21 years
he was
old.
A young guy.
Killing at the Garden, Madison Square Garden.
Oh, was that where it was?
Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
and could do the improv at the time. Y'all didn't know I could throw my voice, did y'all?
Right. And he would be out there smoking his cigarette, drinking his brown liquor. Back in the day, you could smoke inside.
Yeah, I miss those days. But you, like I said, a little bit of brown liquor and a microphone. That recipe does not fail.
He's not gonna let it go, y'all.
I won't. I'm consistent.
We've been doing this for years.
That is
so
true.
let me ask you something you said, and I was thinking about it. And I've heard other comedians sort of complain or address it or whatever. Where do you think we are with politically correct comedy? Like, because you're not politically correct at all. I mean, you are, but you aren't. So you know what I mean? Like, you're not offensive.
I'm not afraid of the
offensive,
line,
but you definitely tell though you're on the edge. Where are you with that?
The best way I heard it put, I think Anthony Jeselnik said it. He's like, I want the job to be hard. I want to be good at a job that not everybody can do. Does that make sense? Like, people talk about freedom of speech. It's not freedom of dumb speech. Figure a way to say something. If you've got something to say and it's something legitimate to say, find a way to say it that doesn't offend people to the point where they don't want to hear you talk anymore. And I put that on the artist. I think it's lazy to say, well, I just said something offensive, because there are actually some guys I've met who don't have punchlines. They literally just want to get on stage and say absurd things and see if people will get mad and deal with the emotional space they put other people into. It's like, even Patrice O'Neal, he would have a point. He'd push you to a point of anger and then bring you back. But guys who just get up there and say, like white comedians who are looking for an excuse to use the N-word on stage as if that's what makes them talented. It's like, get the hell out of here. No, that's not hard. Find a way to put it in making somebody laugh at something that they didn't want to laugh at. I kind of like that space. Like, I like making people laugh at certain jokes where they didn't think they were going to, or if you just isolated that one line, they never would have.
Right.
But if I do my job right with the premise and setup, you might as well come on home for this punchline. Just come back and get it.
Come on. Just come on down the line. Just come on down the road. Just come on down the road.
You're welcome. There you go. But no, I don't think the job has gotten harder. I think it's gotten harder if you thought you could be lazy and do it. But I think if you take the time to write a premise and a setup that necessitates that last little twist, that little tweak, and you can justify what you have to say, that's where the art is. Put it this way: Richard Pryor walking around talking about his fluid sexuality in the 70s. Christian people who were laughing at those albums, they weren't going to sit inside a room and listen to somebody just say, "Well, I decided I was going," like. That's not what they signed up for. You still made them laugh because there was something human in it that they connected to. And the reason why you know that is because their children are acting twice as homophobic about way less.
Right. That's why it always cracks me up when people act like things are like groundbreaking news. Richard Pryor was Did you never listen to Richard Pryor?
Never heard those albums. You never heard any.
You clearly never listened to Richard Pryor tell a joke, or you thought it was a joke. You clearly never really listened to Richard Pryor tell his jokes. But yeah, I can't. But okay, so where are we going? Where are we going from here? What are we doing?
With comedy, period?
Yeah, well, let me rewind. No, go back to the book. Go back to the book.
Okay.
We didn't get to the book.
Okay, so this is the Larry Wilmore story. So
for those who don't know who Larry Wilmore is, I'm sorry. I know some people may not. Yeah. Larry Wilmore, very, 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 accomplished writer, but he also was on the Daily Show. He took over for Stephen. He took Stephen Colbert's show for a while. He was the executive producer or co-writer of
The Office,
Issa Rae, Insecure, and it's something else. I think he is it Reasonable Doubt.
He's an EP on Reasonable Doubt as well. Yeah,
Reasonable Doubt, and I'm sure it's more, but those are the two that pop in my head off the top of my head. So okay, go ahead.
No, and obviously a hero of mine, right? Just absolute hero. Yeah. He and I guess 2022, 2023, Apple had originally greenlit a Negro League baseball series, and I wanted a job in that writer's room. And I got a heads up, and I wrote a spec script about something. I wanted them to consider me and my ability to write it. And I wrote a really long 2-episode pilot, and I'd been sitting on it. They let the option go, the green lighting. It never got made, right? Never put together the writer's room, and they never hired a showrunner. So I'm sitting with the script, and I got a chance to golf with Mr. Wilmore at the end of last year. I was in the right place at the right time, had a good conversation, things happened, right? And there are certain people in the industry who, if they've seen you before, if they've heard something, if they've read something that you've written, they'll hear you out. You know what I mean? Some people can be pretty fair about that kind of stuff. You can't cold call people, but if they've been in the same space and they've seen you around, maybe. And so while golfing, literally, the story about having this historical fiction script because that's what I like writing, historical fiction. And he said, well, you could just convert the script to a book and sell it as a novel when you're doing as merch, when you do your shows. And I thought about it, and I said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it took me longer than I thought, because I think at one point I thought I was just going to take my script, drop it in ChatGPT, and then send it off and get it pressed up. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. I literally had to sit down and retype most of it and reformat it. And I changed parts of the ending and some other things. It became a different story, but I'm glad I did. And so now I got the hardback out, and I've been selling copies of it. It's been a lot of fun. So that's how the book came about, and that's what I'm doing with the book. And that's good. I think it's going to go up on this. I have a website for it, but I'm trying to pull all of these crazy interests into one website, and that's creative and confusing and makes me want to bash my head up against the wall sometimes, but it's a good place to be, good problem to have. So
you self-published it, so like we just have to get it through you at this point?
Oh no, it's on Amazon. It's on all the platforms. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble.
I don't remember you telling me about the book.
I will totally tell you about the book. Well,
because I would have read the book by now. First of all, I love to read. Second of all, history. Hello.
Yeah, it's basically the same weekend. So what I did is I figured in my head that the story that the Apple show was going to probably want to tell was going to kick off around 1933. And I think what's interesting about that year is there's a guy named Gus Greenlee. The same year that the Major League Baseball held its first All-Star game in 1933, and they had it in Comiskey Park in Chicago. The very next week, a black man named Gus Greenlee decided to have the first Negro League All-Star game in the same stadium, and he put up his own money to do that. And I thought, who is this dude? Like, I need to know who he is. And rewinding a year before then, Gus Greenlee's out of Pittsburgh. He had the Pittsburgh Crawfords because he owned a grill called the Crawford Grill up in the Hill District in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And once I decided to look that up, the floodgates opened. Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Cool Papa Bell, they were all on the same team that one year. And he grabbed most of them from the Homestead Grays, who people would probably also know if you've got a throwback jersey, you probably got a Grays jersey. And
I have a Grays jersey.
And he opened the first owned black baseball stadium in Pittsburgh to showcase it. So he built his own stadium for his own team a year before he put everybody in Comiskey Park. And I don't know why there isn't a book or a story like films about this man, but I wanted to write one. And so that's where I put my script. And so the book takes place the year before, and it takes place around opening weekend. And among the standouts that are in it, his business partner and essentially his consigliere, like his number one, like his capo, was a guy named Teddy Horn, who was Lena Horne's father. The story just kind of opens up like an onion. The more you look into it, the more I was like, I need all of this. Basically, like I said before, I wrote the book I wanted to read.
Right. I'm like, well, I just put the link, y'all. The link is in the chat. I just put the link to Earl's book in the chat, and it's there. So you guys listen. You guys can put it, even if you can't buy it today, put it on your wish list. I mean, put it in your cart. Y'all know how we do. You put it in your cart, so the next time you got a few dollars, you go on and pick it up. But there it is right there. I'm gonna buy it today. Because I didn't know anything about this book, sir. I don't remember that part. I remember that went right there. I don't remember that conversation happening, but okay.
No worries.
But no, it definitely sounds interesting. Because like you said, I'm always amazed to read about something I didn't already know. Yeah. And I mean, I know obviously I know the Negro Leagues, but I clearly don't know a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and profess to know a whole lot about the ins and outs.
It's not your fault. They're not putting it anywhere. And it's so funny. Yeah. And I mean, and the hard part is when you're a kid and we didn't have the internet like we have it now, or the ability to look everything up as a kid. But, you'd go to a baseball game or you'd hang out at something and they trot out the Negro League baseball players and two old guys would come out wearing a jersey and you'd be like, oh, snap. But you didn't know who they were. It's not like you had their baseball cards, but you knew you had to show respect for elders. It's kind of that space. And then you get a little bit older and realize, wait, Josh Gibson hit the ball how far?
Right. Wait a minute. And how old was Satchel Paige? Sorry, what?
Satchel Paige is throwing Major League Baseball when he's like 40. Like you just
right. Like he was what? How old? Wait a minute. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you get to those places and you're like, okay, this is a different conversation. This is something else we need to be doing.
Yeah.
Kim just said, do I do voiceovers? I can. I've tried to. I have. It's good stuff.
You definitely sound like an AT&T commercial right now.
I appreciate that. That's good.
I know why he asked the question, because I could definitely hear the voiceover mojo going on there. So I was going to say before, where are we going from here? So we have the album out. I know you said you're going to be doing some traveling, but then you said you're going to kind of be, well, at least based on right now, going to be kind of hanging out right now. What I know you did a show a few months back. I could not make it. I told them about it. I didn't tell them it was you, but I told them, I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't make it. And I felt really bad because I've never seen you in person do comedy. And let me be, first of all, before y'all in the chat be like, what you mean you never went? He wouldn't let me.
I wouldn't. No, not during the bombing.
He would not let me come in the beginning. So now that he's allowing me to come, then I got sick and I couldn't come. So where can people catch you? What's going on? What's next in the chapter? Where are we going with this?
I haven't got my confirmation yet, but I believe Tony Woods and Friends is doing the DC Improv on September 11th or 16th. Let me get the date right. I want to make sure I get the date before I promote it. That's wrong. But that I will most likely do. Let's see here. I'm just stand by. I'm going to do my homework really quickly. I should have known. Homework. You got to do your homework before class. But yeah, this is a great time to be an American. How about this? Let's see. Yes, September 11th, the Thursday night, Tony Woods and Friends is going to be at the DC Improv, and I will do my best to be on that.
All All right. Well, when you confirm, let me know, and I'll let the people know. Because we got a lot of DC folk here, and he does travel. You guys, as you guys heard, he's been Chicago, Detroit, New York, Boston. He's been a little bit of here and a little bit of there, so he does travel.
I do.
I know you have a website linked to your Instagram, but you said it's not where you wanted to be yet, or
no, people can definitely check it out. I'm just trying to find a way to put the whole kitchen sink in there.
I believe what's on there now is got it.
Yeah, right now it's really just supporting some of the reviews I've written for other about other comedians. Like if I've seen a live show, I've made it a point, especially if I enjoyed it, I make it a point to write about the comics I did. It's one of those that I enjoy because it's one of those things where I love the craft that much. So I've got write-ups on everybody from Zainab Johnson to Gerard Carmichael. I've got Ian Lara. Just some of the people I come across. There's Ralph Cooper. There's Patrice DeVoe, who I'm a really big fan of right now. Got a chance to write about Tony Woods. Every name that I've just said, they're killing things right now, like getting on stage. Zainab Johnson, I won't miss her. If she's anywhere in the DMV, Virginia, Baltimore area, just see the woman. You're never mad when you do. You always come out feeling lighter, even though this is the heaviest time I've been alive to witness as an American.
Listen.
Their Black voices doing some amazing things right now. And yeah, I think that's big. Yeah.
Okay. What? Because I don't want you to say anything. I don't want to get you in a space to say anything negative. But
you can ask me anything you want to.
But what? Like, I mean, I guess
I'm scared of these motherfuckers. What they good?
Because I know what we say when there's no camera, so that's why I'm like.
You're right. I can't just run around and go, fuck them. No, I can't do that all day long.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, So, okay. Let's go back a little bit to the writing part of it. Let's go back to the writing. Because I was going to ask you about different comedians, but I don't even want to go down that road.
You can do that. You can ask me straight up.
Well, okay. So you just said some of the comedians that you think are hitting out the park and that kind of thing. What disappoint? Let me keep it general. What disappoints you in a comedian? When you go see a comedian, I don't mean just, oh, they didn't make me laugh, but I mean as far as the type of comedy people, like when you were just like race baiting or like if you see a Black comedian and they do some self-deprecating type things, like what type of comedy is disappointing you right now and what you see? Because you're on the front lines that we're not really on, you know?
I do think when people cheapen the craft when they don't how would I put it best? And here's the thing. I want to be very clear that the science of what is funny to people, the science of what is funny to people is we can definitely answer that in 2 seconds. It's personal. It's a combination of like a reference that someone's able to find. If there's certain sounds that are going to be funnier at certain points, like hard consonants, B's, P's, K's. If you can make that land in the middle of a rhythmic space, that'll make some people laugh that wouldn't laugh at jokes that don't have that, or they're listening, or another audience is listening for something else. And so just because something doesn't make me laugh doesn't mean it's not funny or credible to someone else. You know what I mean? Like a perfect example would be Mike Epps. Mike Epps has been around forever. His audience is dedicated. When he shows up, he doesn't have to work to sell tickets. Mike Epps is here, they go straight to that show. While I probably would not be one of the first people to go to that show, I'm not wondering why the people are in line. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't doesn't make me laugh, but I know why they're there. I will say that I had a funny experience with DC Young Fly. I would say he's on the list of guys who I probably wouldn't reach for tickets for first, but he was judging he was the host of the Because They're Funny competition that happened 2 years ago here in DC. And luck would have it where I was sitting like on the front row, I ended up sitting like 1 seat away from him, like 2 seats away from where he was before he would pop up, go on stage and do it. And the moment I had talking to him out of character, you know what I mean? Like when he wasn't DC Young Fly, when he was just, I don't know what the brother's real name is, but when he was just sitting there as that brother, hearing how he would talk about the comics, on stage where he's like, "Ooh, he should have said that again. That was funny." Or, "Oh, he got to cut back and oh man, he may not win with this one." But I could hear how he was cheering for everybody that was on stage. And so even though I probably wouldn't have done that, I probably wouldn't have been a big DC Young Fly, because he makes sounds and voices that appeal to a younger audience than I am, right?
Right.
He's got no problem selling tickets either. So for me, while it's not my favorite, I will say that I connected with the brother as an artist separately, and I was able to hear where he was going. I got nothing but support for it. But I do think that there are, I think anybody who takes the time to learn the craft, takes the time to work in the craft, takes the time to immerse themselves in it, whatever they come out, just almost like a pool. If you jump in the pool, you go with a glass and you stand up with your little bit of water that you got when you was in the pool, that's yours. You got to drink that. That's what you offering to the world. It's not going to be the same representation, same temperature after it's been sitting in your hands and not someone else's hands. It's not going to be the same glass of water I'm going to offer. And so that's why I believe there's always space for everybody. Although I will tell you a funny story about that, though. Gerard Carmichael is the reason why I quit the first time and the reason why I came back the second time. Funny enough, the first time I heard Gerard Carmichael was in the special Love at the Store. And I heard a young black man mad at the institution that thought he should have been more culturally assigned. And then I didn't know what he had on his back. Nobody knew what he was dealing with at the time. But I heard a brother say a lot of things I wanted to say better than I knew how to say them when I just started doing comedy. And I thought, oh, that niche is already taken. And then when he came out on Rothaniel, I found myself going, a whole other audience needs him more than I couldn't claim him anymore the same way, because another audience needed him. And he didn't owe me that allegiance to keep telling the jokes I needed to hear from him. Another audience needed his voice. And then I thought to myself, oh wait, that means there's room.
Okay.
That means there's room now. I can go back and then I can, because he told one joke that had me dying laughing. It was back in my Tyler Perry period where he said that the list of 13 reasons why black people will not overcome. And he said Tyler Perry's typewriter. And I was like,
that absolutely sounds like something you would have said. Absolutely sounds like something you would have said.
Especially in those days.
Y'all should have been there that night, because it wasn't just Tyler Perry. It was Tyler Perry, and it was like reality TV. And I felt like, and I was like the only woman in the room, and I just felt like I had to defend all of it, because all of y'all were like, no. And yeah, it was a mess. But y'all were all coming from different perspectives. Like, you were coming from your perspective. Myron was coming from his perspective. Kamon was coming from his perspective. And I was like, listen, like I was by myself. But definitely, y'all could have been a fly on that wall. That was some. Oh gosh.
Let me answer El Teddy's question about how does someone get into writing for sitcoms. The short answer, I would say, you got to get into stand-up anyway, because people really only hire people they know. It's never like a job application, and even if there was, like they just announced that, hey, we're looking for writers, and there's like, we post a job. All the jobs that you would want, the ones that are going to pay, they're never posted. And then if they're posted, people are trying to get volunteers together so they can pitch something later on. But if they've got a budget,
they're hiring people they already know.
9 times out of 10, they already know who they want to put on the team, and they want people on the team whose voice they already know. They know that I was just listening to, I'll tell you exactly the interview I was just listening to this morning, which was a great one. Lena Waithe had interviewed Yvette Lee Bowser.
I love Lena Waithe. You talking about her Hillman grad series?
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, the Legacy Talk. She interviewed Yvette Lee Bowser,
yeah.
And who she was originally a writer first 5 seasons at A Different World. Yeah. Then she went from there. She created Living Single with Queen Latifah and Kim Coles. Then she went off. She worked on Blackish. She worked on Half and Half. She did Dear White People. Like, she's one of those voices that you know. But when she left A Different World, people who knew they wanted to create something with a voice that was young and Black and sensitive to 90s values, family type values. They knew where to go. When Kenya Barris was putting together Blackish, he knew to grab her, and Larry Wilmore came on board for that. You know what I mean? Like, so if you want to write comedy for sitcoms, the first thing I would tell you is write it now. Write it without a job. Write it multiple times. Write 3, 4, 5 of them. Write till you get as good as you think you are. The question is, most people, when they get into it, they probably aren't as good as they think they are. Not saying you aren't. I'm talking about my own path. It only happens after you continuously do it, because the second or third time you write something, you'll learn something you didn't think you knew. You'll oh wait, there's a more efficient way to say that. Oh wait, I can make this person laugh and make this person laugh with the same joke. Let's find a way to make that happen. Or little rhythmic things like putting a premise and setup in someone else's mouth and putting a punchline into a situation that happens in the room that's not a word. Learning how to do that is something that you get more and more into the third and fourth iterations. And most of the people, and keep in mind, the people who you're turning them into have already written scripts themselves. They've read 100 of the similar scripts about the similar topics over the last few weeks. So by the time they get to yours, there needs to be something in yours that's not equally as good, but it has to be so good that they put the other ones down. And what I've been working at doing is, I think there's a lot of people who are as good as the people who are already working. But to get in, you've got to be better than the stuff that the person you're submitting to has already read. Gotcha. That's how you get the job. So if you've got the goods, and I'm sure you probably do. If you do, put it on paper, prove it. Prove it to yourself, prove it to your friends, and then prove it again, and then prove it again. And right around the 4th or 5th time, you're going to want to go back to the first one and rewrite that one. By the time you know what your voice really feels like, I guarantee you the people will come. The people who need to read it will find you, because the people who need it, they're looking to make money, and you got to be worth them. People have to read your writing and feel like they can fill their own pockets from it. That's when you get the phone call. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense.
I understand.
Hopefully if he's still watching, hopefully he got the answer that he needed. So,
and if not, that's my brother from my other mother. If not, I know how to get the information if he needs more. I know how to. He does YouTube as well, but he's been working on a book forever.
Hey.
Just like me, if I have to be fair, I have a book that I'm like 95% done. It's that last 5%. I just can't seem to get over that hump. So,
you know, my trick is,
what's the trick?
Skip to the end, finish it, and then write the bridge from where you were to where you landed, to where you picked up. Skip ahead to where you.
But that's the thing. The ending is written. It is that last part.
That bridge. You don't know where the bridge is.
I know exactly how it's going to end. I just cannot make myself. I think. So listen. So here's my therapy session. I think there's a fear of finishing, because then once you finish it, then you got to do something, right? You can't just say, "Oh, I'm working on a book." Once you say you've written a book, then people are like, "What did I do to you when you said you have a book?" I'm like, "Well, where is it?" Because once you say you've written a book, now people want a book. You know what I'm saying? So,
were you clapping on me or were you clapping on you?
I'm clapping on me.
Where is your book? Like, I put my shit out.
Right. Because the first thing, if you had said, I'm working on the book, I'd be like, oh, okay, let me know when you're done. But when you say, hey, I've written a book, now people want the book. Mm-hmm. So, you know. But anyway, listen, this isn't my therapy session. We're going to.
It can be. I'm not judging.
You're not judging, but you'll call me in 6 months and be like, so where's the book?
That is me. Actually, I'll call you.
That is absolutely you. And then you're going to say, so when you get on stage, like those are going to be the two questions. Those are going to be the two questions.
I was hosting an open mic for the better part of a year and a half with some friends. And I remember telling you about that open mic too.
You did.
Because I was like, whenever you're trying to get started, because it's only 2 people I've actually done that to, you and one other woman who I know is hilarious. And I'm like, let's do it. Wait, did I tell you that I ran into Myron at the DC Improv one time?
No.
Yeah.
Listen, Myron has a TikTok page that I don't even know.
That's my dude.
Myron, listen, the best shows that we ever did were the shows nobody ever heard. Us standing out front of WEAC Radio at the end of a show for like hours, just standing outside talking. Those were the best shows.
Those were good shows. But a lot of but that's a lot of Myron and I basically being Tommy and Cole. Just it was just Myron would say something I thought was crazy, and I would look at Myron and go.
And you would look at him and I would say it. I'm like, Myron, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. No, it's not. It's not stupid. Yes, it is. And then,
but he's not stupid. He's very.
No, he's not stupid at all. No,
brilliant,
I'm
brilliant,
saying
but very
that would be my
heart-led.
response, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is.
Myron's not dumb at all. No, not at all.
No. But very heart-led. I would say that, and I would say that he's had some experiences that are so unique that I imagine it shapes his responses in ways that I can't immediately relate to, but it doesn't mean that they aren't real. And one of the things that we were sitting there talking, he was saying over and over again, dude, we got to get back and do it because I think we could do this. And it kind of broke my heart to say, I don't want to do that again because that level of angst he likes to drive people to, I'm too fucking old to volunteer for that shit now. I'm sorry.
Listen, I need you to understand that
I don't want my blood pressure raised. Listen. And he has this thing where, isn't it great when I did that? No, I don't want that anymore. No, I don't want that in my life.
No, it wasn't.
I want to support you, but I don't want to do that to myself. You know what I mean? Like if he had something on air, I'd repost it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would show up, like I'd listen. If he did a live event, I would be there. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pay for studio time so you can sit there and try to call me corny on my dime. Fuck that. Who's doing that?
Oh my gosh.
You gotta know your audience better than that.
Right. You gotta like post somewhere. You gotta post something so people can literally just hear it. It was like, I mean, again, it's not something that at this point I'm interested in. Like I'm not against doing, I do
a reunion show.
I'm not against something like that, but I'm not interested in doing that every week. See, look, everybody in the chat, finish the book. You see what I'm saying? You see?
Yeah. Well, they're right. You got to finish the book. Because first off, it's you, Crystal. Like, you know what you've got to say. You know what you bring to the world. You know what your own experiences have shaped you to say. Say it. Here's the funny thing. Here's the best part. What do you do after the book is done? You write another one. If that space of where you're writing feels that good and you don't want to leave that space, then do it again. And then do it after that.
Gotcha. I got you. So now everybody's going to be on me, child. Everybody's going to be on me.
Well, now I'm going to be one of them. I volunteer as tribute. I will show up every day. Like, yo, where your shit?
Right. And he knows where I live, so.
I do.
Hey, I know where you live too. At least I think I do. Shit, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you do. You do. That's. It's an inconvenient truth. It's an inconvenient truth of sorts. Yeah, it's funny. I can dish it. I really wasn't ready to take it that quickly, but okay. I hear you.
I'm just saying.
Somebody asked if I did the audiobook. I will let them know I'm doing the audiobook now. I finished the writing, to publish the hardback, and the digital one I did the layouts for, but I have not finished doing the audiobook because those take a little bit longer and they take a little bit longer.
I think people just want to hear your voice, Earl. I'm getting the impression that people just want to find a space where they can hear your voice a little bit more. I'm not going to speak for the people in the chat, but I feel like that's what's happening. I don't really think Tracy give a damn about listening to that book. I think, because I know Tracy, I think Tracy just want to listen to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know Tracy.
Okay. Did Tracy ever come by the radio station back in the day?
No, Tracy actually she doesn't live around here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, these people from all over. You saw Nashville, these people from all over. Also, and I wish I had actually talked to you earlier, I'm going to In October, I'm going to the Black Book Festival. I mean, it's not called the Black Book Lord. The Louisville. See, you got me saying black. The Louisville Book Festival in Louisville. Why do I want to keep making up stuff? It's not Louisiana. In Louisville, Kentucky. Good God. But she was looking for like submissions and people to she was looking for people. I would have forwarded it to you. I mean, it may not be too late. I don't know, but that's in October, so I don't know if that's even in your schedule. But she, the person who curates the event is a friend of mine, so I know who she does it, and she's actually an author. She's done children's books, but she just recently did like a self-help meditation because she's a therapist. But she's a therapist, and but she does panels where they talk about a variety of topics, but of course it's just like a book fair where you can have a table and sell your books and that kind of thing. I can still forward you the information. I mean, worst case scenario, she does it every year, so worst case scenario maybe something you look into for next year. But
I'm 100% down.
But we're going. The reason why I say that is because a group of us are going, and we're going to hang out there and everything. So not Stephanie King. See, now they calling me Stephanie King.
You write mysteries like that? That's what you write?
It's not a mystery. It is. Listen, it is just a good old fashioned love story. It is not anything deep. It is. It's nothing.
You go graphic with it? Did you go graphic with it?
I did not. I mean, not as graphic as probably you would go, but
okay. Two things. Let's be very clear about this. I don't read romance novels. I'm not gonna write nothing graphic. That's not gonna happen. That's not no.
No. I mean, there are a couple of love scenes, but they're not. I wouldn't say they're raunchy.
There are women I've actually been intimate with who sent me like texts that I've been looking around like, woman, I don't want to talk about that. You say that when I'm in the room. You don't put that on a traceable document of some sort. No.
Like, what are you doing, woman? Like, no. I work in IT. I know what they can do with this.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to say this. Listen, I've really been trying to get you over here. Our worlds haven't been able to link up our schedule. So I'm glad that we had lightning in the bottle. We could get you over here. My platform is always open to you. You got a show coming up you want to promote, another book, another album, whatever. I need you guys. We dropped the link to the book in the chat multiple times. Earl, if you're coming in late, he has an album out that you can get on all of your streaming, whether you have an iPhone, Android, Spotify, whatever. You can find him on Instagram. If you just type in Spikefish Radio or Earl Wyatt, it comes up. You guys go follow him over on Instagram. And once I get confirmation on that DC show, I'll forward that information. I'll put it out. And you're going to be in Boston, right? I think you said.
Yeah. The next, I'm in San Antonio next week, but then after that, it's I think it's September 11th. Yeah, that's
it's gonna be hot as hell.
It's hot as hell here.
You ain't lying. Listen, I came out of church today and it said 100 degrees, and I was like, that's disrespectful. That's just damn respectful. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I said. That's what I said.
I don't believe that's what he wants for me. I don't.
That's not what he wants for me.
I'll start talking about God like old people do, like they know him personally. I was talking to God, and I imagine he probably had some other things to do at the same time.
Earl, these people swear that listen. Do you see what they're writing in the chat?
Yep.
They swear that I'm the Kingpin's girlfriend back in the day. They have made up in their mind this whole story about me. She was like, it's a love story between a young Catholic girl and her drug Kingpin boyfriend. And then they said, Earl, has ReallyB ever told you how much 10K? Listen, I don't know where they got this impression from about me. But
Well, I know some of your old Greensboro stories, and because that's what you would be contributing to those after hours conversations after the show. So what I will say is they may not be that far off.
So thanks for coming.
Okay, I taught you that move. That one I know I told you. That's my move. So we had fun here today, right?
Right. We had a great time. We're gonna wrap this on up.
Like
oh my gosh. Are you serious? Listen, look. Then my cousin done dropped down in the chat talking about some please tell. There's nothing to tell.
No, we don't talk about nothing we don't talk about app idea. You could tell me an app idea off the air. You don't talk about that on the air, but you almost sounded like me sound like DL. I think I gotta go.
I gotta go.
No. I'm honestly, Chris, I could do this with you all day because we have more than enough history to do this. But no, it's a lot of fun.
So you got to come back. So we could definitely maybe if you come back, you can maybe you can have some clips and we could play some clips from the old radio show. They can really hear it.
I will definitely have clips from the old radio show.
Those were some good ones.
Because I have them. I have almost the whole joint. Wow. Actually, there was a little while when I had it posted and then I pulled it down because I figured it deserved a better presentation for it. And then I probably also have to go through and pull out some of the old ads because a lot of it had a lot of the old WPWC advertisements going on.
Yeah.
The other part, unfortunately, is I hadn't really developed my radio voice at the time, so it does sound like Kimon had rolled the lows off. It was nothing but highs.
I was gonna say I didn't have a radio voice. Y'all would just like hear some headphones, and I was like, oh, okay.
No, you always had your voice. Like your voice was always there. For me, it was because I grew up a singer, and so for me, I'm always trying to modulate my voice to fit into whatever space I'm hearing. So if I hear lows and I hear highs, then I keep trying to fill in this mid-range or whatever. And when I would get in conversations with you and Myron and Kimon, I knew where I could sit in the mix, but that wasn't the most flattering place in the world for a male voice to sit. And there's sometimes I listen.
Go back and listen because I don't know. I need to go back and listen.
There are times I listen to those voices and I'm like, that's what I sounded like. That's not hot. That's not what I want the streets to remember.
That's not how I want the streets to. That's not how I want the streets to remember me.
Yeah. That wasn't it. That's not what was hot in those streets. But other than that, everything's good. It's good to see you though, Crystal. So good.
It's good to see you too. I know we gotta sit down when you're you said you're gonna be here for a minute. We need to sit down and break bread. Like pass the keys like we used to. Sooner than later. And again, I got no problem calling Myron for that, just as long as we would probably still end up in a restaurant yelling.
Of course we're yelling.
Because I think Myron used to like to just rile me up. Like I feel like part of it, I think he just liked to see how pissed off he could make me.
Well, I think he wants the validation of you disagreeing and then agreeing. But if Myron is never more bored than when everybody already agrees with him at the beginning. He needs to turn you. Like, yo, I think Allen Iverson's the greatest ball player of all time. And if you just say, I agree, and shut him down, there's nothing he can say after that.
Right.
But when I'm like, yo, Allen Iverson was great, but I'm kind of more of a Kobe guy. Really? And then we off to the races.
He needs the conflict. Yes.
I do not at this point in my life.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind a debate if it's a real debate. I don't want to get into the arguing just for the sake of argument. And again, love you, Myron, but
remember that time he was trying to tell people that women didn't have to have periods? It's that Western diet that's got you on now. Like, whoa. Let me tell you something.
I remember now. I had forgotten.
I have never looked at a man more confused in my life about why you chose to go here. Like,
listen, even Kimon was like,
man, stop this. You know it's bad when Kimon looks at you like, you really can't help yourself, can you?
Like even Mr. Vegan, I don't put nothing processed in my body, had to look at him and be like, what are you talking about? Like, what the hell? What the hell are you talking about, sir?
I got to find the tape where Kimon's like, we're going to go to commercial. He said it on mic for me. We're going to go to commercial and see if we can talk some sense into this nigga.
Right. Like, and I was like, you do know I'm
That's
a woman,
my man, 50
right?
grand though.
Like, you do know I'm a woman sitting right here. the night he called me fat.
Oh, damn.
No, because I think what he was trying to say was, I wouldn't know because I clearly don't eat the right foods. So I wouldn't know if it would stop my period if I started. But I was like, so you calling me fat?
No. What I was trying to tell him, but you know what? I got to give him credit for this. He's the first brother I knew who read books that, now you and I, neither one of us would take those books seriously, but he would read books from authors that unusual, and it prepared me for other conversations. Myron prepared me more for MAGA arguments than any other person I've ever met before in my life. Well, if you listen to Charlie Kirk, I'm gonna stop you there. I need two sources that say the same thing before we can introduce into this conversation.
Why is this thing blurry? I guess all right. Yeah.
Just lean forward.
Just lean forward.
You lean forward, it'll sharpen up. There you go.
Okay. All right. I never knew that before. That's a trick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He was trying to say because of your weight. Right. That's exactly what he was saying, little baby. And I was like, so you calling me fat? And then that just turned into a whole thing. And that's when Earl became referee. I was like, right. Like, I mean, that's what you're saying. You calling me fat? Like, that's what we say. Yeah. I cannot over exaggerate those conversations. They were fun times though, but definitely a rabbit hole we would go down.
We would. We would.
Yeah.
The number of flags in those plays.
Again. I gotta get ready to hop on to something else. But we'll definitely do this again. And like I said, let me know when you finalize the shop, if you're gonna end up on the show in next month, and we'll definitely put that information out. And I'm gonna see if I can try to make it. You know, school nights are hard for me, but I'm gonna try to make it out.
Appreciate it. Hopefully by that time the military occupation of Washington D.C. will be over, because this is
that's the other thing too. Yeah, that's the other thing too. But we'll listen. We'll I'm put that over there to the left.
We could do that next week. And I will put the Umar Johnson joint up, because I did dig into Umar. Like I went after him with I had printouts at my desk. I remember I sat down and D-Miles was like, all right, okay, he's cool. And then Kimon was pleased because I did my research. And I think when we started that call, Kimon was a fan. And then I remember at some point
he started arguing too.
At one point, I had written a note to D-Miles on my piece of paper, because I remember you and Myron in the back room. I was at front in the main control room, and I slid my note to D-Miles, like, do you mind if I spike him? Because the show was Spikefish Radio, but I'm like, I might have to. And D-Miles was like, shit, we all on the air. Do what you got to do, bro. It's like, wow. In the back of my head, I just heard Kevin Hart say, it's about to go down.
Yeah, it went down. And it went down quick. It went down and it went down quick.
That's when we found out that he was a guidance counselor at a white private school up in New Jersey.
Right. Right.
Good old Jerry Shoemake.
Oh God. All right, y'all. We gotta get out of here because I gotta hop on to another call. Okay. But I will I appreciate y'all for being here again. You guys make sure y'all get out and y'all support Earl book album. There'll be a pop quiz next week. No, I'm just joking. But we'll check it out. And again, Earl, we gotta have you back. We gotta have you back soon. And I will talk to you guys later.
All right.
Peace. Bye.